few seconds to catch up. And it's saying we're now live. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Meditation Monday. Thank you for joining me. A little bit later than normal as I had my daughter off this morning, so things got moved around. So how are you doing for the full moon? How are you ready? Are you feeling it? I thought today we'll do pull a few cards and do a little moon meditation just to connect. As especially yesterday, I've done a 50-minute full moon Qigong inspired meditation on my IGTV channel. So if you want something longer and with some more movement, hop on over there. That video is up on IGTV, which is at Theresa Jande, IGTV. That's simple. I'll put a link below this video referring to that. It's what I do every morning to cleanse and detox, which I've been working on this week and speaking about to you guys. So hopefully you've got a clear picture. Mine's got like wavy lines going down it, so I'm hoping you can still see me. The candle in here has gone out and the light seems dreadful in here, so my ring light is still not working. So but you don't need to see me, you just need to be able to hear me okay. So I'm going to start with the cards actually, and then I'll do our visualization, I think. As I felt, yeah, or I may even just see how long we take with these. So I think for today I've got my two favourite packs. I'm going to stick to asking, what do we need to know for this full moon? For those viewing in this now moment, for those viewing later, for all of those that view this video as an energy container. Just connecting anyway. You can do the same with me for a few breaths, breathing in, breathing out. Ancestor cards, so Angels and Ancestors by Carl Gray. What do our cells, what does my body, your body, our cells, our heritage, our guides, however you choose to call them. And remember, whatever I say, what resonates with you, take on board. What doesn't, and discount. It's from my experience, my insights. What I'm resonating with may not be the same as you. The universe will synchronize what you need to know. So what do we need to know for this full moon? What can help us with clarity, with our understanding, with our emotions right now, with our relationships, whoever's viewing, for any of those questions. I think they've given me, I think, Stag, trust and thrive. This one, he said the message that come through as I was connecting there was for me was take time for you, and this has come up, and that was reflected in the words I'd heard from someone I know earlier saying to me, it's that balance between what I do for others and what I do for myself, the self-care, which we touched on last week, the full moon, and feeling it this month in that intensity and wanting to be able to be there for others, feeling that, so taking that and honouring that for ourselves. Let me find the page. Should page number them, shouldn't I? Just tend to flick through rather than looking up the page numbers. I'm going to read you what it says because I'm feeling as though I'm not as connected as I should be. Right, and then I'm sure as we meditate that will shift. So I'm not always feeling that alignment, I have to say, and I felt like it's lifted the last day or so. I normally feel it before the full moon, but I'm starting to feel that now, that sort of sense of needing to ground. Right, come alive and thrive. Stand in your light and glory with grace and majesty. So the stag is like that royal symbol. It actually reminds me of Harry Potter. If any of you are Harry Potter fans out there, when you see and he does his wand and there's this beautiful image of the stag up on that's what it's saying to me, that light shining, and look, the light's just shifting the camera in here and the balance is awful. So the stag card brings graceful and powerful medicine into your life. In the Celtic traditions, the stag, with his crown of antlers, is known as the king of the forest, and in a totem that brings protection. So the Patronus, that's what I was meaning about the Patronus, the protectors, challenging times. In Native America traditions, he is greatly loved, for stags and deers have provided food for the people and materials that have allowed them to create medicine. Items such as drums, rattles, and smudging fans. Although the stag has been hunted in past and still is, he has strength, dignity, and poise. When his card arises, it can also represent fertility and sexuality, may be an opportunity to explore your sexual side, with your spiritual integrity supporting you on your journey. The extended message is you have an opportunity to thrive. Trust in all that you have to offer, all your gifts, strengths, and powers, and make the most of it. You were born to lead, and this can only become reality when you are willing to put yourself in that position. Stag energy allows you to feel safe because the antlers keep away anything that could interfere with your intelligence and presence. And their strength gives you the power to align in your thinking. You are being encouraged to retain your dignity and be more proud of who you are and all that you have accomplished. This is time. This is in turn will give you even more power to thrive onwards and upwards. It's letting go again of those insecurities, those doubts, and actually looking back. So I was saying this morning in my Telegram group for our intention circle was to say, right, what is it this week? It's Monday. This full moon is on a Monday. It's the beginning of the week. Our magical intention. What are we wanting to, what did we want to intend when we planted the seeds? The full moon is that time of coming to fruition. So what then didn't come to fruition? What were your intentions at the beginning of the year over the last 2 weeks? What were your new moon intentions, and what did you not achieve? So, and why? So we're then, if there's any doubts around why we didn't achieve that, why we haven't tuned into that, then this is the time to either let that go and forgive ourselves for not taking that on, not putting that focus in there, or to assess why, or ask yourself why. First, forgive yourself for it not happening, so you're not putting more resistance into that, but to find out why, because it might be with the moon and the light and the clarity that will come forth, that there's things that aren't in place yet, that there's maybe people or experiences. I always reminds me of Louise L. Hay when she spoke about when she was wanting to move house and she couldn't find the right place. It hadn't come up, and because when she did find the right place, everything in divine timing, remember, it hadn't been built at the time she was doing that. So then in divine timing, that was being built, it was still in that process, and it was there when it was needed. And I was thinking with finances and stuff, something that come up, and the beautiful Joanna Hunter referenced recently about catching the money. If you're not ready for the clients to allow them to come through, and you've not got areas to catch that, then the natural protection for both those potential possibilities of those clients coming through to you will be for that not to happen. I can see my phone, at least it's not coming up on here. Sorry, let me just put that will stop that vibrating on my wrist. And so when you're allowing those people, the relevance, or allowing to draw them to you to catch that, whether it's finances, that loved one, you're going to be naturally protected if it's not the right divine timing in the highest good for all. So it's that it's probably some random crazy call. Like, oh my god, why is it that you get phone calls coming through? It's a good job we weren't meditating. Hey, that was why my gut's going, look, divine timing, everything in divine timing. So that need for protection, oh gosh, what's happening now, is that you are you're naturally protected. So the stag, let me get back on track with being distracted, are that regal, just everything's going to be, these horns will protect you. You're like, your toric field around you will be your bubble, and you can let go of fear. If you're letting go of fear this lunation, then for you it may well be like, for me, I'm always putting on a beautiful Yasmin, who I adore. If you haven't seen her fire ceremony from today, go check it out, love her. She mentioned this and I was like, that's so on board, so powerful to be thinking the same thing. If each time you've put it on your list and it's not actually manifesting, and we're looking at why, it may be because the patterns are showing up for you to let go. Situations in your life are coming up for you to let it go, but you need to do that work. You need to take that steps and be aligned with the inspired action to go through that. So stepping into that state of leadership, that power, and becoming that regal, like the stag, like he's got his head held high within each of the circumstances that may be surrounding, may be showing up for you, and knowing what is right from the heart from here, because this this full moon energy of today is Cancer. It's in its Cancer moon child, as Yasmin would say. And think of the moon. I always say to people, and I love the work of Dr. Emoto, but if you remember that we are 95% water, and the moon in relationship to our earth has done lots for us. It's helped us shift. It moves the tides back and forth. That's created wonderful things in our oceans, but it affects us. So when it's at its fullest, that reflective light from the sun, if you think of terms of light and beams and like a mirror going like this, like in a camera, you think of camera, and how it bounces back. So it does the same, and it does the same to us, and it shows up things that we may not see in our normal perspective, because it's illuminating those things, those situations. And when you've got a strong, bright light, what happens? If you think of it, if you're the photographers out there would know, you get strong contrast of shadows showing up. So it shows up things that may not be working for you in your life, but in clarity, it gives you understanding. That's what the moon and that lunation, I always think of the moon, it softens the effects of things, but it also heightens things and our emotions. So when you think of the gentle aspect of the feminine aspect of the moon in that light, you can allow that yourself to open up to that when you're in sync with it. Or it can also stimulate and activate things that are already going on. And obviously, if you're into astrology, you can look into what it's activating within your chart. I recommend those, definitely my favourites. The Astro Method, Pam Gregory and Yasmin Boland are ones that I love. So knowing that is really helpful, I think. So stag energy, being regal, allowing yourself to feel the protection as well. And the one thing, that was the other thing that I wanted to add, standing in your power, standing in your access. When you know that you are a beautiful divine being of the love and light, you are made up photonically, whether you are esoteric or not, photonic light is what makes up your body. We are made of the cosmos, the star stuff. And when you understand how that works, even on the physics level and the science rather than the esoterical, you then know that you can stand in that power and that nothing can come into you. It's us that allow, by our focus and our fears. So if we're letting go of our fears and embracing that light within, our love within us, then we can stand in that strength and embrace and embody that strength. And that's what that wisdom from the Celtics would do with nature. Fire guardian, igniting your passions. This is so relevant for me at the moment. I just want to laugh, and any of those that follow the I am path at the moment would understand what I'm on about. We've hints for this, but to me, this is that sense of things coming to fruition, of the full moon, that passion, that fire, your desires, the light within you lighting up, allowing yourself to align with the light, with the clarity, and letting that come out. For me personally, or depending on how that's activated in your chart, but what I would say for me, that's a personal message coming through as to direction of things. But I won't go into that too much. Let's read the other aspects of that. Fire fire's consuming, isn't it? Fire is, we think of it as can be destructive, but fire is actually, when you think of like in terms of an earthquake, and I've been saying this a lot lately as I kept seeing the eruptions, volcanoes, the land is so fertile. When it's sort of burnt away, what's left? So when you're burning and you're doing your fire ceremonies, which many of us will do this full moon, it's what have you learned when you're letting go of something? What is it that you've learned from that? And that's seeding the foundations of your new intentions for moving forward. So what are you letting go in order to let things space and create space for the things you do want in your life? So burning away, and I'm saying about seeing like that indigo violet flame, for any of you aware of the violet flame. But I'm going to read you what Carl says. Ignite your passion, connect with your desires. The spark could lead you to something beautiful. Following our bliss. Joseph Campbell, the quote is one of my favourite, and Abraham Hicks often mentions. It's that knowing what you love, doing what you love, focusing on what you love, because where your energy goes, where your focus goes, your energy flows, and that's what you will bring into your life. So if you are someone that is always stressing, always worrying about where money's coming from, what who's doing this to you, and that's what you will create more of. So if you're choosing to let go of that in your life, and you're wanting to not have those experiences in your life, you have to go through like a transformation of letting go. So the full moon is a time, it's letting go of the attachments to those stories and those patterns and those ways of being that we may have felt normal at one point, and now they don't seem so comfortable if we're in that emotion. So the fire guardian represents the angel of fire. Fire is the energy that many people are afraid of, but shouldn't be. Burning desires can lead to great expansion. Allow the fire guardian to help you awaken a wider side of yourself and burn away any fear or shame that stands between you and your desire. When this card appears, you are reminded that passion is powerful and absolutely encouraged by spirit. Anything that we are what's the expression, our God-given gifts are, and that we are passionate about, should always be pursued, I think, because I just think that's such a waste, because that's your natural gifts, your natural talents, the things that you may have had handed down in your lineage, or the things that you just love to do. And that could be cooking. Just because my passion is obviously sharing stuff on YouTube doesn't mean that that's yours. You may love to cook. Every person on this planet, and it reminds me of what Matthias was saying, that we all have in returns to remembering. If you think about every little light on this planet is like every little cell in the body of the earth, and that every cell has a job. Some might be the neurons and the remembering and connecting, and to do with, like, for me, like remembering past lives and gifts. Others, it might purely be that they love to cook, and that their partner has this job, and that when they come home, they feed that person's soul doing their passion, and that allows that other person in co-creation to go out and do an amazing job in what they do. It's in the details of what we do. Doesn't have to be some big thing in your face, especially with introverts and extroverts. You might be very different. So knowing what that is and knowing what your gifts and your loves are is so important. And that fire, that passion, like I say, cooking, it may be exercising, it may be working with children, and inspiring young minds. I think is one of the amazing jobs in this, because you're gifted in that way. Working with old people, healing, there's so many healers out there. With animals, with our beautiful creatures, plants, our earth, soil, I think gardeners. And you think of how the repercussions of what we do, taking that passion of what we love and giving 100% to it, and the intention of love. You imagine just sending love every day to the soil if you're a farmer, and what you do, and knowing that that food and that intention goes into people will be eating that frequency of what you're sharing, that passion that you love. So on those levels, you are being guided by the angels to connect with the powerful energy of desire at this time. If you have recently set an intention, so what was your new moon intention, as I said in the beginning, to explore your sexual side or become more sensual about the fire, the desire that can burn away any old setbacks that are preventing you from expressing that part of your nature. If you are in a relationship, this card can indicate a great spiral of sexual connection. Now, people always get a bit like, oh, it's a bit it's distorted, but actually being in tune with your sensual side doesn't necessarily mean sex. It doesn't have to mean sex. It can be. And if that's something that you've set an intention for, to be more sexual, to be more in tune with your body, then that's great. That's still a good thing. It's those root chakras grounding the third eye to the root. However, that's the pleasures. That's it. Taking pleasures in the simple things is still, in Qigong, we talk about the pleasure energy. When we were, I think I did it last week, but when we were doing this, and we're doing a bit of a yin massage and bringing that down and being in tune with the sense of touch, having a massage, massaging your head in the shower when you're washing your hair, to taking being connected with the senses of the body, the sensuality. It comes on all those levels. It's focusing in channeling that energy of the fire, the desire, for life, for all aspects of life, be it sex or food or movement or doing or co-creating. It's having that passion, sparking that passion. I mean, one more, because I'm thinking about time, and it looks like this Monday is just a reading. Guardian angels, you are not alone. To know that you are not alone, I think it reminds me of air as well. So it's like earth, fire, air. So maybe we should be doing weeks of water angel, but this beautiful symbol of the feather, to me, there's three things I want to say about this. The first being, I always say to my children, we have this thing that whenever we see feathers, I always, I started doing this from Carl Gray, but I always say, thank you, angels, for revealing to me your presence. Now, whether you believe in angels or not is, I personally think, is irrelevant. It's more the sense that you are seeing the symbols and the synchronicities of the energy of this world and how things are flowing in answer to what you've said. So if you've asked for a symbol, you've asked for a sign, that's what the feathers are. But also, a lot of people this year, they're feeling alone, they're feeling lost, they with this moon, they might be feeling more emotional and being triggered with their shadow self. Maybe they're evolving, maybe they're waking up to their consciousness and being more aware of this other way of being and living more intentionally. Guardian angel to me is, and saying you are not alone. There are so many people on that same wavelength, on that same frequency. When you look for these bubbles of light within communities, I remember feeling like, and my daughter said this to me this morning actually, she said, Mummy, I feel different. I feel like I'm not fitting in with like a group of friend set that she'd moved from, and she's in a different group of friend sets now. And she said, and I feel sometimes when they're not around, they've split them up in bubbles at school, with ones that have packed lunch and ones that have dinner. So for example, if you're feeling like where things are moved around, not maybe working you're remotely, so you're not with people, and the same that you would be interacting. I mean, for me, I've kind of gone back into a part-time job so I can interact with people more, to share and see how it is for people to be more, to understand and relate. And this is where what I wanted to get at. If you're feeling like you're not fitting in and you're very empathic and you're thinking, where is my soul crowd, where's my circle, my inner circle? I've got lots of people I converse with, and they're online, they're in Zoom, but they're in other countries. And you're like, well, I have to say, I'm lucky enough that I have got people local to me that resonate on that same level and wavelength. That when you start actually feeling like you don't need to protect yourself, that you're sort of lighting up for those other people, you will start to see them coming into your life. If you're focusing on, and this was a lesson that I had to learn, I'd always see what Abraham Hicks would refer to as the peanut gallery. But actually that in itself is a judgment of those people are, or that was the other term I heard recently, sleepers. Those people, and that term in itself is that it's us and them mentality, that division. And actually, that's still in itself a pattern, a way of thinking, of consciousness, of saying, well, they think that way and I think this way, and I therefore need protection from that, or I'm not fitting in, I'm feeling like I'm alone. We are not alone. Even if you go outside and you stand in the forest and you actually truly listen, put your hand on your heart and listen, and believe me, you'll realise you're not alone when you hear the abundance of nature around you. I know that that's not the same thing, but it's that there is so much energy around us that we can align with. But I will read what Carl says. It's that knowing that you are naturally protective, that if you tune in and you ask and it's given, to want of a better phrase from Abraham Hicks again, whom I love, if you ask, you shall receive. Ask for help for the universe. Don't question the how. Allow that, and it will come, and you will see that you are not alone. There are so many people will reflect what you're putting out. If you're putting out, I'm alone, it's just me, that's that focus, and that's where your energy will flow to the experiences and the patterns that we will draw. So letting go of that feeling and knowing for this full moon, and knowing you are naturally protected. We are divine, as I say. When you step into the love, you hold that in your heart, and release fear, you naturally, frequency will attract that, and that's that energy of the angels, if for want of a better word, or frequency of love, is the way I like to word it, depending on your thoughts or beliefs. And obviously I still I don't like to put names to things, because I know people have perceptions of that, but for me it's the frequency of light, which is love and compassion. That may be particularly depicted by and source or God, universal consciousness, you may see in those forms of what, according to your own belief system, which may be angels. If I can find this one. She says, oh my word. Now I know why we weren't doing the meditation. My brain is a little bit like, I need my self-care time. That's what they said to me as I was starting. So message is, watch for signs and reminders from your angels and loved ones that they are close by. So tuning into that, the radio went off today and a couple of songs kept playing. I'm like, that's so my mum. So that would have been something she would have sang and listened to. And it's little random things like, yeah, it could be the retrograde playing with the thicks, but I choose that is a frequency of love. That's a message for me, that to no one else it would just be like a random event. But the same, like I said, with the feathers and saying, and when you see those signs, saying thank you to the universe, because then you'll encourage that to have more of that. Remember, they are working hard to guide you. So the universe is always, I say universe, source, if you want to insert angels, guides, gods, whatever you choose. I choose the word source because that's what resonates with me. Will show to you what you need to know. It's always course correcting, always guiding you. Your higher being, your higher self is always taking you that way. So it might be that you keep seeing that, or something keeps showing up for you. You keep getting a call about random stuff, or seeing an image of a random thing. If it keeps coming up, take note and remember to say thank you when you not acknowledge that. The guardian angel card shows the white feather that has become known as the guardian angel business card. Whenever a white feather appears in your life or the card appears in a reading, it's a message to say your guardian angels and ancestor guides are particularly close at this time and are there to support you with their love. If you have asked for help with a particular situation, know that there is divine intervention in the works. Everyone has a guardian angel who has been with them in their past lifetimes and with their in all of their lifetimes to come. So know that you are never alone and never will be alone. This card is a huge reminder that there is always help and support available to you. Your guardian angels is with you now and is here to aid you in all of your endeavours. In order to fully receive their support, first ask for it, then surrender to the process. Know whatever unfolds will be for the highest good, as we said. And so I think our meditation, I was going to call, I think, in the ancestors, one from the keepers of the light, but I'm going to go because I noticed it's past. I'm trying to keep my talking down. I do love to chat. I get passionate about what I'm talking about, but I'm aware of your time. So I will do a quick 10-minute meditation for you to do just that, to surrender to love for this full moon, to surrender whatever is worrying you, whatever's on your mind. Let's connect now with our heart. And give thanks as well and draw in some gratitude. Also to the protection, if you feel the need that you need to be protective, to know that you are naturally protected by your angels. It's your frequency, that love bubble is there. The toric field is around you at all times. You just need to tune in to yourself, your creative self, your most authentic self, as I like to call it for me, with my channel being Love Authentic Me. So closing your eyes if it's safe to do so, obviously. Putting your hands over your heart, just tune into your breath. Just taking a few breaths in and out. Our breath is the quickest way to connect. So breathing in, allowing the lungs. And I obviously with the movement, with Qigong, I've been doing more movement and meditation lately with you. But if in the stillness, if you just imagine yourself allowing the lungs to fill up and exhaling. So you're tuning into the body at the same time, into the totality of our senses, what we're feeling, acknowledging what we're feeling, how we're sitting, our posture, just allowing yourself to acknowledge whatever it is you're feeling right now. You may be feeling sad, you may be feeling happy, whatever, just having no judgment about that, just tuning into that, allowing yourself to focus your mind on your breath, the flow of your breath moving in and out. Always reminds me of the waves hitting the shores, so moving into that visual in your mind, just of being on a beach, watching the waves lapping, or just the sound of the sea, gently flowing in and out. And with every breath, breathing in deeper, relaxing with any out breath. Breathing that knowing of the cells in your body that you have breath, that you can breathe. Just allowing that to sink in. That pure, simplest, basic need is met. And sometimes when everything is feeling like it may be overwhelming you, like the waves may be lapping and rocking and crashing, just feeling that breath and going, it's okay. Allowing the emotions to shift and move, to flow. Any tears, if they need to come, to come. It's a sign of release is to cry. If you're feeling emotional from this moon, if you're feeling like you need a little bit of TLC, allow that to flow with the breath, promising that self. And if something didn't manifest, and if it's not manifesting in your life, be it partner, be it finances, just in this moment, just surrender to letting it go. It's fine. There's a reason why, everything in divine timing. Say to yourself, I forgive myself. And if you feel like you need forgiveness from someone, feel that. Imagine that you have that in this now moment. Visualize that for this moment. A sense of letting go. Breathing that in and out. It's safe, you are safe, all is well in this now moment. Like we do in the tapping, it's okay. It's okay to feel sad, it's okay to feel anger. Just accepting and letting go of any expectations, any attachment that you have to how you could be, how you should be, what shoulds, coulds, as Louise L. Hay would say, the shoulds, the coulds. Just let it go. Just breathe, knowing that you are safe, that you can breathe in that light. And right now we're moving to sort of your imagination, your creation, spirit, that ignition, that strength. Feel the light of this moon this evening, lighting up any shadows. Imagine as you put out your moon water, as you put out your crystals, or whatever you do in your process with the moon, if you do that, or if not, just allowing the image of the moon on that beach. You're watching the waves coming in and out, just observing the breath moving in and out. And the moon, beautiful, expansive, lit up before you. Feel yourself bathing in that, every cell, with the intention of every cell, like the work of Dr. Emoto and the water in our body, in our cells. Surrendering to that light and connecting with the light within your cells. As I said, we are star stuff, the cosmos within us. That light, the heart. Put your hands over your heart and just breathe there for a moment. Whatever's going on around you, whatever noises are going on around, it doesn't have to be quiet right now. There could be screaming kids going on in the background. It doesn't matter. Just focusing and bringing your intention and your attention to the breath and the heart beating, that life pulsing within you. And just breathe in stillness in this now moment. Know that you are light, that you are love, and that all is well. Just breathing that. And if you want to spend more time there, then do so. But I'm going to bring this to a conclusion, asking you to bring your hands up to your face. Opening the eyes behind the hands. Keeping your hands there as the light's filtering through if you've had your eyes closed. Bringing the hands up over the head. Bringing our tiger through the hair. Just as you're doing that, connecting with touch and all of those lovely receptors in our head. Just feeling it, like you when you go to the hairdressers. Just do that a couple of times. Bringing that down if you suffer from headaches, any tension that's there around the third eye and the crown, anything that needs to release, do that a few more times, and then just shaking that off. And again, doing the crown pull, we call in Qigong, just separating, so fingertips together in the forehead, pulling them apart, and just feel that, connect with the touch and your body. And at the same time, bringing that sense of I'm alive in this moment, all is well. And as you do so, going back down to the base of the spine. So you'll start in the forehead and you move the fingers, just keep pulling them apart, moving down your hairline. You can do that a couple of times if you need to do it for more. Coming down, just at the back of the neck, just holding that there. And then one of the things I want you to do to bring in before we finish to conclude is just breathing there for a second, bringing your arms down, giving yourself a little hug, holding the elbows, knowing that you are never alone, you are loved, you are love, the frequency of love, light is love, love is light. Just breathe that into you for a moment, and if you feel comfortable to, open up to connecting with the emotional intelligence of your hands, putting them open to the moon, to that light coming in, being open and receptive to all good. And as we go down, just bringing the hands back down to the heart. If you have an affirmation, just saying it out loud. But if not, just knowing I'm open and receptive. I am safe. I am loved. And I surrender to the higher self, to God, universe, my angels, knowing I am safe in their keeping. Bringing those hands around. Feel that as if you're wrapped in the wings of an angel, in the wings of Isis. Motherly love. If you're feeling like there's someone you want to bring into that and you want to wrap around, to do that and send that intention of love out to them too now. Thank you. Sorry for rushing through that. Just a little quick meditation with our reading. I hope you have a wonderful full moon. I felt like I need a little extra TLC, so I should be having a lovely, lovely salt bubble bath to continue to cleanse, to do those processes and take the time to do what I would normally do in a ceremony, which I haven't done this month, and doing my burn list. If you have a burn list, taking at the time to go out and doing your movements if you can. As I said on my IGTV, and I will add the link when I finished recording down below, there's a 50-minute detoxing and cleansing video that I did for movement. If you can do that outside today with the full moon and allow yourself to be bathed in that, as we were visualizing, bathing that light, to put clarity to anything that you need to let go of if you're unsure, and just surrendering and just letting go and going with the flow. But thank you for your time. I keep forgetting to say, because someone said, "Oh, you need to let people know." As obviously this every week, I come live and do different processes on a meditation Monday. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. I'm Theresa Jande from Tree Heart Art Design Authentic or Love Authentic Me, YouTube and Facebook pages of the same name, or Theresa Jande on Instagram. There is a link below for anyone if you want to donation. Thank you for those that have been. To keep me doing what I love, my passion, and my work that I've been working on is learning to receive with love, with gratitude. So thank you for your time. And if you can't, obviously liking and sharing is another way. I'm really grateful. Thank you. Bye. Have a wonderful full moon,